Lorna Caldwell hadn't stepped outside in nearly 7 months. The Gothic townhouse at 137 Vestry Street was her entire world now. It towered like a relic from another age, smothered in ivy, iron balconies creaking in the wind. Set deep in Greenwich Village, it was a piece of Europe transplanted onto American soil. A quiet mansion behind heavy wrought iron gates, shadowed by new, louder buildings. She had arrived the previous autumn. Her job to maintain the estate for the elusive industrialist Dorian Varelli. The man himself was only a ghost in Lorna's life, never there, always abroad, always in Europe. The house was stocked with anything she might need. Her every expense, indulgence, and request fulfilled, sometimes before she even made them. The deliveries arrived at the gate. The drivers never lingered. It should have felt like luxury, but there were days when it felt more like a cage. Lorna had once been a struggling writer. Now she sat every day at an antique typewriter on the 3rd floor, clacking away at a novel that had no title, only an impulse. It was a Gothic story, inevitably. How could it not be in this place? The rooms breathed with old air. The house shifted and sighed, especially at night. Whispers crept up the dumbwaiter shaft. Floorboards groaned beneath footsteps that were not hers, and the mirrors, dozens scattered throughout the house, sometimes reflected rooms as they once were, or people who weren't there. Lorna never questioned the strangeness out loud. To speak of it would make it all too real. She wrote instead, but she began to notice something. Her writing was not entirely her own. Sometimes she'd read back pages she had no memory of typing. Entire chapters appeared, filled with strange imagery, arcane symbols written in a hand slightly unlike hers. Her typewriter, a Remington noiseless, seemed to resist or guide her fingers, depending on the day. She would fall asleep and awaken with ink on her fingers. Pages fluttered across the floor like fallen leaves. She told herself she was dreaming or overworked, but the house was changing her. Her skin paled. Her dreams were vivid. Visions of vast ballrooms lit up by candlelight, blood dripping through chandeliers, masked figures waltzing through smoke. She dreamed in languages she did not speak. One day, she found a door she had never seen before. It was behind a bookshelf in the library. The shelf moved easily, sliding with a groan of ancient wood. Beyond it, a spiral staircase descending into darkness. She should have run. Instead, she fetched a candle. The air grew colder with every step. The stairs ended in a stone hallway lined with faded tapestries. At the end, a door carved with sigils that pulsed faintly as if aware. She pushed it open. Instead was a chamber. No, a crypt. Marble slabs formed a circular room with a single stone sarcophagus in the center. Around it, relics, tomes, and dozens of typewriters. all antique, all different. Each had a half-typed page still rolled into them. She stepped closer. The slab was inscribed Dorian Varelli, 1426 to 2003. Her breath caught. That couldn't be right. That name, her employer. She stumbled backward, heart pounding, and looked again. The date was unchanged. She fled the chamber. The next day, she called the contact number she'd been given when hired. It rang once and disconnected. She tried again, same result. She sent an email. It bounced. That night, she dreamed of the man. He was tall, impossibly tall, with eyes like tarnished silver and hair as black as the void. He danced with her in a ballroom that wasn't real. "You are my favorite," he whispered. "The others wrote for me, but you remember." She woke screaming. The house had changed. Doors led to different hallways. Rooms she knew were gone. The mirrors no longer reflected her at all. And the manuscript, now nearly 500 pages long, was done. But she hadn't written it, not all of it. She read it in one sitting. The story was of a house in Greenwich Village that trapped those who entered, feeding on their memories, their souls, their words. A creature lived beneath it, sleeping in a tomb, feeding on the creativity of those ensnared. It had lived for centuries, moving from estate to estate, from across Europe, now America. Writers were drawn to it, compelled. They wrote, and as they did, they gave themselves to it. At the end of the manuscript, the protagonist, a woman named Lorna, walked into the crypt and laid down in the sarcophagus. Lorna slammed the cover shut. Her fingers shook. She tore the manuscript to pieces, fed it into the fireplace. Flames refused to burn it. The paper screamed instead. She tried to run. The gates wouldn't open. The phones were dead. No internet, no signal. The house had sealed itself. In the final days, she stopped resisting. She typed again, not to finish the novel, but to understand. She pieced together fragments of Varelli's past. A Venetian noble, a Carpathian lord, a Prussian occultist. The name changed, but the soul was the same. He found the house, or it found him. He became its custodian. In exchange, it made him immortal, fed him through others, through her. She wasn't the first. The typewriters below proved that. But she would be the last. Lorna made her way down to the crypt one final time. She sat before the stone slab, and this time she typed with purpose. This house is not cursed. It is hungry. It devours time, people, words. But if you are reading this, then I have written an ending. She finished the sentence. The candle beside her flickered, and the house sighed. The gates unlocked. The morning light outside was blinding. 6 months later, a new caretaker arrived. A young poet, eager, promised full funding to write their masterpiece in peace. The contract bore a new name, Dominic Varelli. The house waited, and beneath, the crypt stirred once more. Ooh.